Same as usual, working at your own pace, making sure that nothing is causing pain or discomfort, is enjoying pain. Muscular discomfort, entirely up to you. If you need to stop and have a little stretch, stop and rest. If you can keep it going for as long as you can. Usual probes to the ball, if you have it, pushing. If you don't, towel, and then band or strap, belt, anything that you can use for assistance. If you're seated, see if you can try and sit up nice and tall, trying to release the compression from the diaphragm, the big breathing muscle inside of the rib cage. See if I can give it a little bit more space to descend and ascend to create that relaxed breath. So you're not forcing yourself into an apical breathing, you're not forcing yourself to breathe with the top of the chest. So trying to create as much space as possible, feeling the belly expanding and relaxing with the breath. If you're lying down, allowing the matter to take the weight, to relax completely, feeling the belly raising and falling with the breath. So see if I can try and focus the breath down into the abdomen, down into the belly, trying to calm down the nervous system and calm down the body. And then as you keep that nice and soft breath going, running a quick scan over the body. So noticing where the body is. Am I straight? Am I slightly twisted? Is the pressure the same between the right and the left side? If I'm seated, is the pressure the same between my right and my left seat bone? If I'm laying down, is the pressure between my right and my left shoulder the same? Between my right and my left hip the same? You're not changing anything, just noticing where everything is and how you feel to begin with. Is there any tightness? Is there any niggle, any pain anywhere? And then as you start feeling a little bit more settled, the breath feels a little bit calmer, a little bit more relaxed, and then focusing on the shoulders, focusing on the arms. One arm at a time, I'm going to start raising it up and towards the ceiling. As far as I feel that I can take the arm, and then I'm just going to return it back. And then with the left, I'm going to do the same. Then easing back, and then to the other side. If you're seated, the arm is lifting against the gravity, so it feels heavier. So I might not be able to lift it very high. It doesn't matter. Just making sure that you're not forcing the lift and then creating tension into the neck. So see if I can create a nice, easy lift on the right, and then a nice, easy lift on the left. If you're laying down, you're working with gravity, so it feels a lot easier to move the arm. So I'm aiming for the biggest movement I can, just making sure that there is no pain in the shoulder. So I don't feel pinching, I don't feel grinding or pain as the arm moves. As usual, comparing the right with the left side. One side might be feeling a little bit tighter. There might be a bit of clicking going on one. As far as there is no pain with the clicking, that's not a problem. But same as usual, if it clicks, just try to play with the position of the arm, of the hand, turning the hand, turning the arm just ever so slightly one way or the other, creates a better fitting between the top of the arm and the shoulder socket, so I might be able to get rid of that clicking. One more time on each side. And then releasing back, relaxing the shoulders. I'm going to stay with the shoulder, stay with the arm, but changing the direction of the movement. Instead of a front raise, I'm going to go into a lateral raise. So still working with a single arm. So I'm just going to swing one arm around the side and towards the head, and then I'm going to swing it back and towards the hips. Then swinging the other arm around and towards the head, and then back and towards the hips. So whether you're sitting or laying down, as the arm comes around the side into that big arch, try to play with the angle of the shoulder. So I want the wave to be as big as possible. Physically, I might not be able to make it that big because my shoulder is a bit tight because it feels painful. So I'm just going to keep it a little bit shallower. I'm going to allow the arm to maybe come slightly forward to the body line, but making sure that the shoulder is in a good position. So I'm not hurting the shoulder. I'm not creating pain or tension into the shoulder and into the neck. And then same as you did for that front raise, as it happens more often on the lateral raise actually than the front raise. If the shoulder clicks as I move the arm, as you get close to the point, again, play with the position of the hand. See if you can find a better fitting between the top of the arm and the shoulder socket to get rid of that clicking noise. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, releasing the arms, and then I'm going to mix the movements together. So I'm going to start getting into circles. I'm going to focus on the right arm first, and then I'll be doing the left. So think of having pencil instead of fingers. I'm going to start to drawing a big circle in front of me. So I'm going to go round into the circle. I'm going to progressively see if I can make the circle a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. But same as I did for the two movements separately, the two directions separately, making sure that the movement, especially the change in direction when I'm going from the front to the side, is not creating pain, is not creating grinding in the shoulder. So trying to make the circle as big as the right arm will allow me to. 3, 2, 1. Now reverse the circle going the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing. Releasing the arm, focusing on the other side. So I'm going to start going for a little circle and then progressively see if I can make it bigger and bigger. The same as I did on the first side, making sure that the movement is only as big or small as it works for that shoulder. So nothing is causing pain, nothing is creating tension into the side of the neck. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reversing the circle, going the other way. 10. Adjusting the side of the circle. Make it smaller, make it bigger. As one direction might work better than the other. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arm. There's a little bit more movement through the shoulder joint. I'm going to focus on the hip. Same as I did for the shoulder, I'm going to kind of like split the direction first, and then I'm going to try and mix them together. So first thing, I'm going to go for a little opening and closing. I'm going to focus on one leg at a time. So I'm going to keep the left leg nice and still. And then the right leg, I'm going to start opening it to the right. So I'm just going to open it as far to the right as I can. And then I'm going to close it back to center. Same as usual. If the leg is a little bit tight on this side, or I feel that I don't feel the connection, I'm not able to move that leg freely, it feels a bit stiff, a bit temperamental today, then I might guide it. So with a hand, I'm just going to encourage it to move out, and then I might need my hand to encourage it to come back. So I'm just going to guide it, see if I can have a little bit more of a feel for the movement. So using the arm to help me if I need to. Picturing the top of the femur to the top of the thigh bone, just moving gently in and out into the hip socket. Same as I did for the arm, making sure that the movement is not causing, pinching is not causing pain. If you're seated, it is unusual that the hip pinches, as I can never reach the end of the range because of the chair, because I'm sitting on the hips. If I'm laying down, as I've got a lot more space to move, I can more likely reach the end of the range. So making sure that if you're getting that far, nothing is pinching in the hip. So there is no pain as the leg opens. There is no discomfort as the leg closes. Just make sure if you're lying down that the hips are staying still. I'm not taking them with me, so they're not rolling to the side. So keeping the hips nice and steady, see if I can move the leg into the hip socket. 3, 2, 1. And easing back. Relaxing the hip, releasing the leg. And then I'm going to try the same thing to the left side. So I'm just going to open it out as far as I feel that I can control it. And then close back to center. Open. And close. And then same as I did for the arm. Notice the difference between right and left side. I feel that one leg moved better than the other. With one leg, I was able to open up a little bit further. With one leg, I've got a little bit more control. Just doing my best, doing the best I can with this side to see if I can create a nice smooth movement to the side and a nice squeeze back to the center. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, relaxing the hip, releasing the legs. From a lateral movement, from the abduction, adduction, I'm going to go into a little lifting and lowering. So using the band around that right leg, if you know that, again, that movement, that direction somehow feels quite restricted, feels quite tight, I need a little extra support, I need a little extra help coming from the band. So I'm just going to use my arms to, again, guide that leg into that lift. And then this time I'm going to start lifting and lowering. See if you can think of the tension deep into the hip joint, and think of the thigh bone moving closer to the chest. So see if I can feel the, again, the thigh bone moving upward, the hip joint closing to create that lift, and then opening to release it back. So again, it could be a little lift, a big lift, it doesn't matter. As even with the arms, if the leg doesn't want to go up, I'm not going to fight it. I'm just trying to see if I can get a little response into the muscle, and then trying to relax a little bit more within the joint. So think of a nice, smooth movement. So nothing grinds, nothing catches, nothing pinches as the leg is going up and down. 2, 1, and easing back. Relaxing the leg, relaxing the hip. I'm going to try the same thing with the left side. So switching the band around to the left leg if I feel that I need that little extra guidance. And then I'm going to start lifting that left leg up. Easing it down. And then lifting it up again. So again, feeling the hip joint, closing the thigh, moving closer to the body. And then opening back out again. Again, nothing pinches, nothing catches. If I'm laying down, keeping the pelvis nice and stable, making sure that it doesn't feel as if the hips are kind of like a rocking as the leg is moving. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing down. Relaxing the hip, relaxing the leg. So it's a little bit of movement front to back as well. Same as I did for the shoulders, I'm going to try and combine the directions, getting into circles. So if, again, the leg is a little bit temperamental, it felt quite stiff, I'm going to use the band around the back of the leg, back of the right leg, so that I can support it as I start going into my circles this time. So imagine the pencil this time to be strapped to the front of the knee. I'm going to start drawing circles in front of me. So I'm going to draw circles on the ceiling. If I'm laying down, I'm going to draw circles on the wall in front of me if I'm seated. So little movement, a big movement. Just again, picturing the thigh bone moving around into the hip socket. A nice smooth movement, making sure that there is no pain. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Allowing yourself a little pause, a little rest, and then I'm going to circle in reverse. So I'm going to go the other way, adjusting the size of the movement. If I feel that this way somehow feels better or it feels a bit tighter, see if I can keep it smooth. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Relaxing the hip, releasing the leg, switching the band around to the left leg if you feel that you need that little extra support, extra guidance, and then same as before. Think of that pencil strap to the front of the knee. I'm going to start to draw in circles in front of me. See if I can think of a little bit of an opening and closing into that circle, a little bit of lifting and lowering every time that I circle. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Allowing yourself a little rest if you need, and then we're going to reverse, going the other way. 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. And releasing back. Relaxing the hip, but releasing the leg. So there's a little bit more movement into the hip joint too. I'm going to focus on the back, see if we can get to some more movement through the shoulder girdle, the upper back, and the lower back. So I'm going to, and the leg. I'm going to start off with a little protraction, retraction. So pulling the shoulders forward, imagine to be bringing the shoulders to the front of the chest that's attached. So see if you can think of a nice, almost like a little stretch, wrapping around at the back of the shoulder or middle of the back. Then I'm going to squeeze the shoulder blades together as opposed to trying to touch the shoulders at the back, giving that nice opening across the front of the chest. So I'm going to squeeze them forward, protracting them, and then back, retracting. Forward, and back. Forward, and back. So see if you can picture the shoulder blades just gliding in and back around the back of the rib cage. The biggest movement I possibly can, making sure that it's not causing pain or it's not creating stiffness. It's helping me to relax the upper back a little bit more. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Relaxing the shoulders from protraction, retraction. We're going to go into elevation, depression. So still focusing on the shoulder blades, but this time instead of letting them move forward and back, I'm going to try and make them move up and down. So I'm going to shrug the shoulders up to the head, and then I'm going to press them down and away. Pull them up towards the head, and then press them down and away. So feeling them sliding up and down the back of the rib cage. See if I can, again, create as much movement as possible. When there is a stiffness, when there is a tension, imagine your shoulder blades are almost like glued to the back of the rib cage, so it feels really tight. So see if I can try and gradually unglue them, and then let them glide a little bit more along the back of the rib cage, up and down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and ease them back. And then same as I did for the shoulder joint, same as I did for the hip joint, I'm going to try and mix the two together. So see if you can think of going into shoulder rolls. So I'm just going to try and roll the shoulders as much as I can. If I'm seated, I've got good space, so I can really try to take advantage of that space and get some movement through the upper back as well. If I'm laying down, it's a little bit restricted because I've got the floor behind, but I can still get a nice movement going through. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, adjusting the shoulders and the rib cage. Shoulder girdle a little bit freer. The shoulder joint is a little bit warmer. See if I can get a little bit more movement through the thoracic spine. So see if I can encourage a nice rotation through. If you're lying down, I want you to roll over onto the side. We're going to go into opening and closing doors. So I'm just going to roll over onto the side. I'm going to bring the arm that is on the floor, the one that is underneath. Instead of keeping it underneath the body, I'm just going to reach it forward, as far forward as I possibly can, so that the back of the shoulder is on the floor. If I feel that I need a little support below the head, I'm just going to put a cushion, towel, block, anything below the head to raise the head. If I feel that the head is actually quite comfortable, then I'm just going to keep it resting on the floor. I'm going to tap the knees up so they are in front of the hips, so the shins are level to the front of the mat. And then I'm going to start turning the body. So think of that top arm. I'm going to start pulling the arm back, and then I'm just going to turn the rib cage to face the ceiling, and then I'm just going to stretch the arm behind and try to get nice opening across the front of the chest. Then I'm going to ease my way back, and then I'm going to try that again. If you're seated, exactly the same thing. I'm going to repeat on the same side. So I'm going to hold the legs nice and still. Focusing on the right arm, I'm just going to bring it to the front. I think of holding a cup of tea or, I don't know, a glass of water in the palm of the hand. I'm going to turn and then see if I can pass that cup of tea, glass of water to the person behind me. Then I'm just going to ease it back, and then I'm going to try that again. So it doesn't matter if I can't get the arm very far around, try not to drop that cup. So making sure that the arm and the shoulders are not twisting to go further. What I want is for the shoulder to stay back, the head to stay lifted, the chest to stay lifted. I want to be able to turn from my rib cage. The arm is just following that turn. So it could be here, it could be there. It doesn't matter, but it's the rib cage that is leading the movement. So same as if you're down on your side, making sure that the arm is not twisting to get close to the floor. I don't want to put my arm on the floor. I want to turn my rib cage and just take the arm with me, and then coming back. 3. 2. Last one. And releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the arms. I'm going to repeat the same thing to the other side. So if you're lying down, turning to face the other way, setting the same position, pulling the bottom arm right through so you're resting on the back of the shoulder. Tucking the knees close to the chest, the knees are in front of the hips, and then top arm, I'm going to start opening out, turning, reaching back, and then easing back to the front. So same as I did on one side, the rotation is very different right and left side. So you might find that the first side felt quite easy, this side feels a bit stiffer. Don't force it, vice versa. You might find that the first side felt quite stiff, this one feels quite easy. Just trying to keep the movement as easy as relaxed as possible, so there is no tension into the neck, there is no strain into the shoulder. It feels nice and loose. I'm getting that nice opening across the front of the chest. I'm getting that rotation into the upper back. My head is following me around, so I'm looking where the hand is going, and then returning back. Unless I feel that as I turn my head, I start feeling a bit dizzy, a bit queasy, in which case I'm just going to keep the head still and just trying to turn the rib cage and the arm, and then just ease back. 4. Opening and closing. 3. 2. Last one. And releasing back. Releasing the arms, adjusting the shoulders. If you're laying down, rolling over onto the back, or setting yourself onto the back. And then for rotation, we're going to go into a little lateral flexion. So I'm just going to allow the arms to come down the side. Imagine your back to be against the wall. Your head, your shoulders, and your hips are on the wall. I'm going to keep them on the wall. And then I'm just going to start moving from side, back to the center, down the other way. So see if you can still focus the intention, the movement into the back, so I can feel my back flexing from side to side. Imagine your rib cage to be like a little concertina thing that is opening and closing, opening and closing on both sides. If you're lying down, you might find that it's a little bit more comfortable for the neck if you raise the head into the hands and then just carry the head with you, so the neck doesn't need to hold the weight of the head. You can just easily move from side to side, taking the head and the arms to the side with you. So a little tension into the side of the belly, allowing me to create that movement. Same as I did on the rotation, I might find that on one side I can flex a little bit deeper, on the other side it feels a bit harder. I'm going to focus on the stiffer side, on the harder side, to see if I can try and make it easier in that direction. 4, 3, 2, 1. Easing back to the middle, allowing yourself a little rest, relaxing the belly, relaxing the back. We're going to try one more time. This time, I want to try and create a little bit more stretch down the side of the body. So I'm going to try and see if I can reach with the arm. So if you're lying down on the back, one hand is going to stay on the head to support the head. The other arm is going to reach over to create a nice stretch. Then I'm going to switch, and then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. If you're seated, then you don't need to support the head, as the head is on top of the shoulder. So I'm just going to reach up and over with one arm, see if I can get a nice stretch down the side. Coming back to the middle, and then I'm going to reach and lift it the other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and releasing back. Relaxing the shoulders is a little bit more movement into the back, is a little bit more length down the side. As if we can try and create a little bit of a stretch that is going to wind around the back of this arm. I'm going to reach my right arm straight in front of me. So if I'm laying down, it'll be pointing to the ceiling. If I'm sitting up, it'll be pointing to the wall in front of me. With the left hand, I'm going to reach and hold either above or below the elbow joint, not on the elbow joint, as that will lock my elbow, so that will put the elbow into quite a lot of pressure. So above or below, whichever is easier. And then once that you've got hold of the arm, then start pulling that right arm across the front of the chest. Try to think of the arm wrapping around the chest, not around the neck. So I'm not allowing the shoulder to come up and the arm to wrap around my neck. So it's not a scarf. It's the shoulder wrap. So I'm just going to try and wrap it around the shoulder. I can feel the stretch going around the back of the shoulder, across the middle of the back. I'm going to keep pulling it around until I feel that I can't pull it any closer. I can't turn any further. So whether I'm seated or laying down, see if I can create enough tension to feel that stretch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ease your way back. Switch inside. Reaching that left arm straight ahead with the right hand. I'm going to grab hold of the arm above or below the elbow joint. Wrapping it around the shoulders, around the chest. And then I'm going to keep pulling, keep turning until I feel that the stretch reaches behind the shoulder, across the middle of the back. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back. Relaxing the shoulders, releasing the back. And then I'm going to do the reverse. What I want is to open up across the front of the chest. So it's 2 different positions, depending if you're seated or lying down. So if you're lying down, you're going to let the arms reach, both arms reach up. I'm going to bend the elbows and then think of taking the elbows out to the side. So I'm just going to stick them out, level with the shoulders. Then maintaining the elbows there, I'm going to let my forearms and my hands fall back. Don't let the elbow open, keep them bent. And just allowing the arms to relax there. So allowing the weight of the arm to create that stretch into the shoulder, into the front of the chest. If you're seated, I'm going to reach the hands behind the back. I can clasp the hands together. Just rest them onto the base of the spine, back of the pelvis. And then squeezing the shoulder blades together, I'm going to try and lift up from the front of the chest. Reaching the arms nice and long behind to see if I can get a nice stretch across the front of the chest. If I feel that the hands together is a bit too much, my chest feels quite tight, then I can use the strap. I'm just going to flick the strap behind. I'm going to give myself a little bit more space and then see if I can get that nice lift there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release and back. Bring the arms back by the side, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. And then keeping the head to the center, I'm going to reach with the right arm down the side. See if I can create a little stretch so that this arm goes over the top of the shoulder into the side of the neck. So with the arm, I'm going to push away. And then with the head, I'm going to try and pull the opposite direction. So think of your left ear dropping down towards the left shoulder. If you feel that you can create a little bit more traction down the side, then see if you can extend the wrist. So pulling the back of the hand towards the forearm. So I'm going to try and pull my fingers up to the ceiling that way. And then if you want a little bit more traction there, I'm going to turn the all of the arm slightly to the back. So as if I was trying to point the fingers to the floor below or to the wall behind me if I'm seated. And then holding it steady. 5, 4, 3, 2, stay there. Now turn the head as if you're trying to bring your nose to your left shoulder. So feel the stretch wrapping around to the side of the neck a little bit more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back. Relaxing the shoulders, bringing the head back to the middle. Same thing with the left side. So I'm going to reach the arm down the side, pull the head the opposite way. So right here to the right shoulder. If I can make the stretch a little bit stronger, then I'm just going to extend that wrist, pulling the fingers up towards the ceiling, turning the arms slightly out to slightly back, hold it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Turning the head, bring the nose down towards that right shoulder. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and easing back. Returning the head back to the middle, bringing the shoulders a little bit over roll. If you're lying down, rolling over onto your side, slowly pushing yourself up into seated, finding your comfortable seated position. Leaning against something if you feel that you need a little support, using the arms to support you if you feel that you need a little support. And then once you feel that you're set, let's see if we can create a nice lift into the front of the body. So I'm going to start pushing the chest forward and then try to lift it up. I'm going to roll the shoulders back and down. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to look up. I'm going to look back as far as I can. And then I'm just going to release, allowing the chin to drop down to the chest and the shoulders to come forward. I'm going to roll my way forward and down towards the legs, towards the floor. And then I'm curling back up, extending through, pushing the chest forward, lifting it up, roll the shoulders back, drop them down, forward, looking up, looking back. And then using coming forward, roll it down. Last time, I'm curling all the way back up, extending through the biggest lift you can, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing back to the front. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take your bow, give yourself